Welcome back to Meg's Mysteries. Hope you enjoy this new one. The Spy Among Us, Technology. House hunting is so overwhelming, but it's exciting at the same time. I was finally doing a job I always wanted to do, and I was my own boss. I was making outrageous money, so I decided it's time to start looking for my dream home. I got in touch with my father's friend, Matt Green, a realtor, and he's my new agent. We'll start looking this week. I can't wait. The day's finally here, and Matt had several houses to show us. I gave him my desires for a modern home with all the new updated gadgets. He had 5 houses that he thought that I would like, and it would meet my requirements. So my boyfriend David met me at the first house. It was nice and very expensive, but money's no object. House just didn't look like it would be for me. It just didn't feel right. So we went to the other 3. No luck. At the 4th house, it was okay, but it's still not up to my standards, and the area was just too busy. I wanted a modern house, but not close to other houses. I needed my space. I know I'm picky, but it has to be the right one. I'm planning to live here for the rest of my life. One chance to find a happy home. Matt said, I have one more. It's just what I think you wanted. I saved it for the last. But it's pretty far away from civilization. I told him that's exactly what I asked for. He said it's very high priced, brand new, and the builder is a technology genius. Actually, he invented all the updated appliances and gadgets, and the house system is on top of the line. There's nothing like it. We went, and I fell in love with it. David was a little leery, but if I loved it, it was okay with him. So now, Tessa Gordon was a new homeowner of 2501 Forge Road, Nevada. The only house on a private road, 15 miles from the nearest town. But I didn't care. I worked at home, and what a home it was. Desert and mountains all around us. The house was a self-sufficient, solar-powered earth house that would last for about 100 to 1,000 years. Back to nature with all the new technology advances. A place to work and live. I'm a writer, and I just sold my latest murder series, and they're making it into a TV series now. I have a lot of success with all my books, but Murders of the Past hit it big, and so did I. A month later, I moved in with my cat, Bass. I loved it, and my cat not so much. David travels all over for work, but he'll also join us. But he said, this is your home, make it your own. He's not disturbed that I'm so far away from people and way out in the desert with just a cat. The security system is like no other. The system is called Brian. The builder and inventor, Mr. James Hartgrove, insisted the best technology, and he named it after his son. Brian does it all with my voice command. He adjusts lights, turns appliances on and off, temperature control, water plants, even cooks and cleans, just with the sound of my voice. I just say, Brian, what shall we have for dinner? He suggests something, and voila, it's done. I just put it on my menu. What a great system. Food meals are delivered once a month. Brian does the rest. The system is like a big refrigerator and a freezer. You select what you want, and it's like an old New York automat. Food is on conveyors and little apartments, so you can just choose what you want. This gives me time to devote to my writing and creating new storylines. How did I ever live without Brian? This is truly the house of the future. Bass doesn't feel at home here. She's very spooked by it all. But she'll finally accept it because I love it. I have her here for about 3 years, I have her. David had bought her for me. We were celebrating my first book sale of Death of the Kings. He was gone so often, and he knew I loved cats. So he surprised me with an Egyptian Mao. I just wrote the Egyptian Mystery Series, and the cat's name was Bass, named after the goddess Bastet, the ancient Egyptian cat goddess. She was just like her, and she was in my story, and she was the one that solved the mysteries. She was quite expensive, but David got a good deal and knew she was the cat for me. A typical day at Casa de Gordon, Brian saying, "Good morning, Tessa. Time to wake up to a new day." Then the shutters and blinds all over the house would open, bright lights to wake up to. Then a shower or bath, which I programmed the night before, would turn on with the perfect temperature. My clothes all picked out on a rotary rack, all programmed by me on the computer and Brian's system. I just had to dress myself. Food and coffee ready for breakfast. A robotic arm takes it out of the food center, microwaves it just right. Coffee pot automatically turns on. All I have to do is pour a cup and pop out the food. It does everything but eat it for me. Bassett's food and water are always filled, and litter box is always clean. She still doesn't like it. This 2022 home in the future is all that it was said it would be. All I have to do is get writing and no more household worries for me to think about. Brian has it covered. Did I mention the beautiful indoor garden, all self-sustained and watered by Brian's automatic water system and weed control? Dinner is always planned and ready when I want it. I just command dinner and Brian does the rest. He calls me, "Dinner is ready." Also, we have an automatic cleaning service. It kind of reminds you of that classic cartoon, The Jetsons. David will be coming home tonight. I programmed a romantic dinner for 2. Brian said, "I will make it a special night for romance." I thought, boy, he's getting very personal for just a home system. David came home and we had a lovely dinner and his favorite bottle of wine. Bass still doesn't adjust to it. She doesn't like the new way of life, and she told us in her way she was not pleased. She ran all over, jumped up on the furniture, cried out, hissed at everything. Her hair stood up on her back. David said, "What's up with her? Is she always like this?" I said, "No, but she's not happy with the house, but she'll get used to it eventually." So I went to get another bottle of wine, and I heard David tell Bass, "I don't like it either. This Brian system gives me the creeps too. He seems to know too much, almost like he's spying on everything we do." Bass mewed and said in her cat way, "I know exactly what you mean. He even knows when I pooped. He's even listening to everything and he sees everything we do. Too weird for even me, a cat." David told her, "But we have to adjust for Tessa. She loves the place. We will make do." That night, David went to take a shower. Only scalding hot water came out of the shower head, and he got badly burned. I had to call the ambulance and take him to the emergency room. He told me I programmed the temperature just right, and the glass doors just locked and I couldn't get out or shut the water off. He had to stay in the hospital a few days so they can treat the burns, but he was lucky they weren't as bad as we thought they were. He told me, "You go home. You can see me in the morning." When I got home, Bass was lying on the floor by the front door. Looked like she was trying to get out. I called the vet and took her right in. He said she was poisoned, but I got there just in time. She'll be all right. He told me to get the food and water from her dishes and bring it to him for testing. So I did. He tested the water, that was fine, but the food had castor oil plant seeds in it, poisonous to animals and to some humans. How could that be? I had to leave her a couple of days there so she can recover. I went home. "Brian, how did Bass's food get poisoned and castor oil seeds get in it?" Brian said, "That's a question I cannot answer. I screamed at him. Yes, I screamed at a machine. Am I going crazy or what? I said, first David gets burned, then Bass. What is going on? Brian just says, calm down, Tessa. And he put calming music on and he dimmed the lights. Then all the windows of the house shut. The blinds came down, shutters all in lockdown mode. I yelled, open the blinds and stop the music now. Brian calmly said, be calm. I will take care of you from now on, Tessa. I ran to the front door screaming, open it now. Brian just said, calm down. Oh my God, I'm being haunted by a jealous home system. I must be going mad. Brian said, no, I'm real. We are perfect for each other. I know your every needs, and we will be happy. Now the cat and David are no longer in our lives. How can I override this system? I ran to the control panel and tried to open it, but I got electric shock. I screamed, stop it, Brian. Turn off all the locks and let me out. Brian said, I can't do that, Tessa. I was trapped for 2 days. No phone, no computer, only Brian, telling me to calm down and relax. The vet and David tried to call and got no answer. So David took a taxi home even before they wanted to release him. My car was still there, but I was nowhere in sight. All the windows and doors were in lockdown mode. David panicked and went to the realtor to get the information from the builder, how to override the system and get in. Turns out the builder just died that week, but his partner had the plans and all his notes. So now they can turn off this security system and open up the house. They did. Brian's last words to me were, I'm dying again. Goodbye, Tessa. The doors and windows opened, and I ran to David's open arms. What happened? He said. He read all the plans and notes from the builder. It was his dead son energy that was put into the Brian system. Somehow he programmed the energy into the technology system, so his son would live forever. No one knows how he did it. He was just a mad genius. So we picked up Bass. She was going to be fine. We sold the house back to the partner. He gave us all the money back with no complaint. He knew how traumatic it was for us. We moved and never went back. The house is still on the market, cheap, but no buyers as yet. Technology, you can have it. Maybe this will be a great story for one of my books in the future, but for now, it's just too close to home for us. And who would believe it? Would you? So beware of your electronics when they start listening, talking, and spying on you. They may just take over your lives. All that technology, is it worth it? What do you think?